A beautiful lovely gamers, my name is Jonal. Whew, it's patch notes time, boys. There's been a PTR update to 1.40, where there have been some general nerfs to, well, beam heroes in general and so on. Some buffs, some tweaks on certain heroes such as Sigma, and we have introduced, in my opinion, the best update for the workshop, which I've been waiting for so long, new workshop actions, which I'm super stoked about. Of course, before we start the video, I have to do what everybody else does on this platform. A like on the video is, of course, appreciated. If you like this type of content, either FPS or Overwatch or whatnot, subscribe with bell notification. It always set up the channel. And tell me down below, especially if you play some of these heroes such as Symetra, if you play a lot of Bastion, a lot of Sigma, because I haven't had a lot of playtime on him myself. And what do you guys think about these balance changes? I would love to hear that down below in the comment section below. I just said below 2 or 3 times in a row, but let's just begin with the video. So, Bastion, let's start with him. Self-repair, which is his healing ability, no longer consumes any resources while Bastion is at full health. It is fine. I have not. It's quality of life, I suppose. I have never really started repairing myself really that much that I notice. They consume resources when I'm at full health, but I suppose it's nice. Also, now Bastion now correctly initiates a 0.25 seconds of recovery time when cancelling his self-repair with weapon fire. Meaning, if you are repairing yourself and you start to shoot, there will be a 0.25 second of recovery time. Meaning you can't just immediately start bursting somebody. It's a little bit of a nerf for Bastion. It's more of just a quality of life for people that are fighting Bastion, such as Genjis, that he can't just repair, and then immediately put out like a little bit of burst and then straight back into repair and then a little bit of burst and straight back into repair and then continuously doing this. So it kind of evens out him a little bit. I don't think it's a really significant nerf, but it helps a little bit if you're gonna face him, because as we all know, it can be very, very cancer to try to beat a Bastion bunker from time to time. Now, Symetra, her primary fire has gotten some nerfs. Her beam width has been lowered from 0.3 meters down to 0.15 meters. So about a 50% reduction in the width. Her beam DPS level, so per level, has been lowered accordingly. So before it was 65, now it's 60. Second level was 130, now it's 120. And third level of a beam was 195, and now it's 180. It's been a lower in damage. I'm kind of glad to see this. I've seen a little bit too much Symetra on rank for my liking. I've also seen her in top tier professional scrims that I've been a part of, where they play Symetra, because, well, people play a lot of Mei, people play a lot of Orisa, so there's of course a lot of stuff that you can charge your beam off, especially for those teams that play Orisa Sigma for some weird reason. You have 2 shields plus the wall that you can charge your beam off, right? So a lower damage output, while it doesn't look like a lot, it scales very quickly, right? Like, very quickly per second that you have a higher charge beam, it does scale, and over the course of a match, the damage output is actually a decent nerf, without, like, making her completely useless. I assume if this doesn't fix anything, that they would put further tweaks onto something like that. Besides that, Zarya has also gotten what I am really stoked about. This is, for me, a quality of life. So the beam width of Zarya no longer scales with energy. So as we know, before you had a very thin beam at 0, then you have a very large beam at 100 energy, or very high energy. So before, it went everything from 0.1% all the way up to 0.2%, but now it will always be at 0.15. So in between the largest and the smallest beam, that is where your Zarya beam will be from now on. They have also given her a little bit of a nerf. Probably thought that Zarya was a little bit too strong, where her max beam DPS has been lowered from 190 to 170, meaning her damage ceiling has been lowered from 109 to 170. You can no longer deal more damage than 170 per damage if you're 100 energy. So that's just a small nerf on the Zarya. So as you can see, some of these beam heroes have got a little bit of nerfs. Besides that, Sigma, our dear toe lover, has gotten a couple of small changes to him, which I think are pretty good. His hyperspheres, which is his primary fire, his hyperspheres explosive damage have been reduced from, well, his explosion damage had been reduced from 35 to 30, meaning it's not just now about exploding these things around stuff. You actually have to hit them with a small nerf to the AoE. I think that is just because people thought that he has way too much damage. And again, this is one of those things that just over time scales really nicely for him. On top of that, his experimental barrier has now gotten a toggle option. If you want to deploy it with a toggle option instead of a hold option, I'm still gonna use the hold option, but that's of course just a quality of life. His accursion, which is his rock throw ability, has gotten an increase in the explosion damage from 50 to 60, which I think is fair because it's super difficult to hit with, especially on the longer shots, and you should be rewarded with it. So from 50 to 60, I think that is fine, especially when they've lowered his explosion damage. And his Gravitic Flux, which is his ultimate, the intro cast time has been increased from 0.4 all the way up to 0.6, which means essentially you will have a longer time to spread out, to dodge, to move out of wherever that ultimate will be happening, so that it's not as difficult to dodge it, and essentially giving a little bit more of a heads up before he will pop the ulti. Allows you also to potentially pop abilities if you have a little bit lower reaction time, and so on and so on. I think these are great. It has reduced his spammable and it gave him a little bit more of skill and made his ultimate a little bit more outplayable. There will be ways now easier to outplay it. For example, you can try to sleep him in those extra 0.2 seconds. You can try to see if you can sleep him. Besides that, the workshop updates, which I'm so happy about, and I can't wait to see what people are gonna make out of it. Unfortunately, I don't have time to put myself in and sit down and work with the workshops, just because of YouTube, coaching, university, and all that stuff. But I can't wait to see what people are gonna make with this. So we can finally make proper aim training areas, because now with the new workshop action, you can now create dummy bots. So you can create a dummy bot, which is a full player that has no human or AI controlling in it. Using auto workshop action, the dummy bot can move, aim, press buttons, and can do most things that humans player can do. You can also destroy these human bots. They have also added some started as some throttle in certain direction, stop throttle in certain direction, you know, that you can now create some beam effect. All that will be on the screen. I don't want to read through all of the workshop patch notes, but in general, there's been a significant, increase in just what it is, and I'm so happy to finally see dummy bots. I think a lot of us have been asked for that. I can't wait for people to make, there's probably people that's going to make these like RP style, where now you can like have a bot that does something for you as an NPC. I would also not be surprised if I start seeing really good aim practice areas or something like that, where we now can, for example, I don't know how advanced movement they can give them, but if they can give them proper strafing patterns, then you can have like, you know, learn how to hit a strafing tracer that spams 80-80 and crouch, right? Just spams 80-80 crouch, right? Like learn to hit that, like, so you can fight against certain strafing patterns, long strafing patterns, short strafing patterns, and run over that kind of stuff. I think that would be pretty cool. Now I would like to hear what you guys think down in the comment section about these patch notes. If you play in the heroes, if you work with the workshop, how do you think this affects it? And especially stuff like if you're Sigma, Zarya, Symetra player, how do you think that these things will affect you on your hero? I would like to hear that down in the comments. Of course, a like on the video, subscribe, and bell notification. I hope you guys have a lovely day. Please take care of yourselves, stay positive. As always, my name is Jonal, and you guys keep the enemy in your crosshair.